Ya marhaba, welcome to ILV Majlis, where Milan meets Khalij and the art of travel begins. Today we're having a very special guest, Omar Al Sharhan from Kuwait, but he lives in Doha, and amongst the many things he does, he is an English teacher. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Today I would like to talk to you something that is very close to me, because if today I'm sitting with you, is because of those choices that my parents took when I was a child. The journey that takes a child to become a man. I think many parents confuse protection with preparation. They try to protect, cocoon their children for too long, and they avoid their children to leave the nest at a too young age. And then at one point, some parents say, why aren't you leaving the nest? What we at the ILB have been doing for 20 years is to help children to find their international networking, to become the adults and the leaders of tomorrow. First of all, what made you to become a teacher? Why did you choose this path in life, which is quite enriching?
Well, first of all, it was my mom, actually. My English was good. My English was very good for my age at that time. So from all the aspects, all the professions that I wanted to do, one of them was I wanted to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a chance to be an ambassador or something. But in Kuwait, it was a very demanding profession. So there was a lot of people who went to that profession. So I took the teaching role. And I started in Kuwait in 2014 as an English teacher. And from there, my teaching journey just started. 10 years in Kuwait before I moved here after 10 years.
Do you find teaching in Kuwait different from the teaching in Qatar?
It is different. It's different in a way that in Qatar you have the chance to initiate things more than Kuwait. Not to say that in a bad way. There's a process in Kuwait that you want to go through, and there's steps that you need to take, but it does take longer to do these steps. But in Qatar, because the education is a top priority, especially under Her Excellency Sheikha Moza, you have a lot of, she's one of the most people who is very well deep in education, and she cares about the education of the people of Qatar and anyone who lives in Qatar, not just Qataris. So that's why they like the initiatives of education. If it goes well for Qatar, it has to be done. And you get the support that you need.
Excellent. We at ILV have been choosing and selecting several summer camps in Europe for many years. When a young person travels for the first time on its own, and he goes to a summer camps from Australia to the States or in Europe, do you find that the child behavior, the child language skills, and overall the child has shown a change?
Absolutely, there's going to be a lot of changes. Communication skills, they're going to have better communication skills because they're going to be interacting with different kinds of people, different backgrounds, different religions, different environment. They will be having the alien behavior. Who you are, where you're from, what does your country look like, why do you do this, why do you do that? There will have a lot of curious people. Oh, you're from this country. What does this country have? Does it really have this? Does it really have that? So having this kind of summer camp or this trip where you stay for a month or say 2 months, it's good for the social skills and it's good for the personal development.
this personal development. I went for the first time on a summer camps when I was 11 years old, and I was terrified. I was sent to England in the countryside, but then when I came back, more than the English language skills, I found that my peers back home were different. I didn't realize straight away that I was the one that changed. I perceived everyone else as different, and I did struggle a bit to adjust within my classroom and also with my teachers. Do you do talks with parents when these children go away, to telling them that, you know, the child might change, the child might need some psychological support when he comes back to readjust? Because when you're 11, 12, 13, 14, you're a sponge and your brain absorbs everything, but then sometimes it's difficult to digest all of it. And me personally, when I came back, I was very critical of my original environment because I found it quite small compared to the people that I met from Poland, from Mongolia, from Congo, from South America. Did you find that with children, even in Kuwait or here in Qatar?
Of course, because like, say for example, when you're like between the age of 10 to 14, you are going to be a consumer. You're going to consume everything. You're going to consume new behavior from different people. You're going to consume any kind of video games, any kind of videos that you see, any kind of trend that comes across you. You will consume. This age and this generation is just consumers. So you will have a big change. You will have to and if that change could be bad or could be good. And for a lot of them, they're gonna be going through those two paths any time of their life. But the one way that you can actually tackle it is that you either let them go by their own or you guide them. Because you can't just tell this, you know, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot listen to this. Like, they're gonna have a way to consume that even behind your back. So it's good to be with them as a guide rather than just leaving them like that. So when they like reach to a certain level, they'll be able to consume it really well. They'll change in a real good manner, and you will be able to adjust easily after that.
Do you think it's healthy for a child that lives his safety network, his bubble, his environment, to realize that he's not the best in the room? Because, you know, within the families, we are being brought up to be sheltered. And when you get sheltered, you also there is always this message that you're special. But when you have to measure yourself with your peer, sometimes it's hard to accept there's someone better than you. You as a teacher, how do you cope with this sense of loss of value?
There's not a loss of value for all the students. There will be one student better than the other in things, but there will be better than them in other things. So in a way to like cope with that is that, yes, of course, maybe he will, like, you have to be very honest. It's like, yes, he may be better than you in math, English, Arabic, and social studies, but you're better than him in skills. You're better than that, you're better than that, you're better than that. So each one of you is like completing each other if like you're going to be like friends on the way. So even though, let's say for example, even the worst student I've had in my 12 careers as a teacher, he turned out to be a coffee owner for 3 shops in Kuwait.
Excellent.
Yeah, because like he was really bad. He had a lot of bad scores in his studies. His PE was good because it was PE, of course, but his understanding for business was better than anyone.
Some of us are not fit for the academic life, but more for practical things.
His understanding for business was very good. So at a young age, he was doing like Like he had a group of students. We're gonna go, and he was contacting the coffee shops that he goes to before he started opening his own coffee shop. I'll bring you 3 students, 4 students. It's a good advert. It's a good marketing. You have students who work in your coffee shop. We're gonna sell and stuff like that. We're gonna take a percentage from your sales, and he did that for 2 years.
Do you talk with the family when a child is not academically successful, reassuring them that doesn't mean that the child is a failure? Because a lot of parents put a lot of stress on academic results. And not everyone's mind or attitude, it's geared towards such fixed learning. But as you said, there was this child that then became a very good businessman and an entrepreneur. How do you manage to tell these families that they shouldn't be worried, but it's not just the only measure in life of a child?
Well, it's not the only measure in life, but especially for this region here, it's very hard to convince the parents that academically is not, like being good academically is not your only worries. Like the kid has other skills and stuff like that. So that's a challenge actually, because all the parents, like let's say for example, 80% of the parents, they expect their kids to be very good in this grade, and this grade, and this grade, and very good in this subject, and so. So the question will always be, oh, will he be able to pass? Will he be able to pass? Will he be able to pass? But that kind of concern always covers on the skills that he actually has. So someone could be a very good horse rider. Someone could be a very good swimmer. Someone could be a very good footballer. They have those skills. They have those skills like, how can I say, like talented people, like very talented people. Someone is very good at video gaming. He loves to stream. His parents want him to be successful in his studies. He can be successful in his studies. He can be very successful in gaming and also streaming because he's very good at it. And he knows how to teach people how to do this and that. So he can easily open his channel and people will get anything about gaming from him because it's the new generation. Parents being worried about academics has been there for like a long time and still got to continue until like 4 years and years and years going ahead. But with the generation changing and the environment changing, there's a lot of things that are being neglected. Like one of the students that I had in my school back in Kuwait, he was very good at programming and he was very good at creating games. So he wanted to go to one of the universities in the United States that were specialized also for gaming. Like they had also like these kind of tournaments. This university goes to this tournament for gaming and everything. His dad wanted him to be an engineer. So you still have this kind of
because that's a proper job.
Yeah, that's a proper job. But also that's a proper job as well because the generation is that. Yeah, like it's one of the biggest and it's one of the top 5 industries in the world. People need to understand that.
Do you think that this schooling system in the GCC is fostering children to do these summer camps experiences? Like sometimes we struggle and we find that we're fighting with the schools because they think it's a bit of a waste of time, whereas the personal development, the social development that the child that measures him with peers from different countries has a great help in coming back and then doing problem solving, for example. Mm-hmm. Because you meet people from different countries with different experiences, different cultures, different values. So you need to adjust yourself. And then when you come back to your own environment, you are more readily in accepting changes, in understanding issues and complex problems. We have been seeing that who attends regularly summer camps from an early teenager years onwards tend to perform better later, also in schooling.
Absolutely. One thing you can see in this generation now is the screen the screen time is so high. Is so high. So that's when I said that like they're consumers.
Yeah.
So when they're on their screens, they are just consuming Instagram videos, TikTok, or just like we say, brain rot. And it's a scientific term. Your brain is rotten because you're just seeing these things. When the AI videos showed up, when the one of the trends that just popped up and made like a viral trend, which was the 6-7, it's a brain rot. You got to think of it. It's actually a brain rot. So when you take these things from them and you take them to these camps, go out in the real world, you're gonna see a lot of changes. They're more independent. They're exploring more things. They're curious by nature, so they're gonna be like very curious about the things that they're gonna be seeing out there. They're gonna be curious about that person. They're gonna be curious about that place. They're gonna be curious about what they're gonna be doing next because they had fun in the beginning. That's one of the things that we did in the beginning. One of my friends in Kuwait, he's an art teacher. So he has a group of students, like 10 to 15. One of the social things that he always does is during Ramadan, takes a number of students, sometimes goes up to 20, and does the breaking the fast for people in need. So they are the ones who he just supervises. They are the ones managing the whole thing, bringing the food, giving it for the people in need and everything. So that's one thing they can do, which is the social interaction with those kind of people. They see different kind of people.
We try to offer different type of experiences in summer camps. Some might be academic, some might be language skills, but others are very much related to art, so that the child could express himself or herself, because sometimes school doesn't give much space to personal enhancements when it comes to arts. But another very interesting field that more often we're offering to families are military schools, because families would like their children to have a stricter education, because this gaming, this framing that you're talking about somehow affects their perception of authority.
Mm-hmm.
Because through the screen, they see things that they think it's allowed to do. Whereas in a conservative society like this one, we're noticing that offering these military camps for 2-3 weeks really helps to put the child back in gear. Would you agree with that?
I do agree in that, but it can come in a balance. It can come in a balance. It can work as an incentive. It can work as a reward. I agree about like kids need to understand disciplines. I agree kids need to understand about accountability, because when we talk about this kind of thing, about like military school and stuff like that, it's for them to understand there's accountability for things. Because when you're in a military school, and if you don't wake up, say, at 5 a.m. or 5:30, the sergeant is going to tell you, okay, you're going to be running 5K. And if you don't get ready in 5 minutes, you're going to run an extra 5K. So that's going to be 10K in total. And if you complain, you're going to run another 5K. That's going to be 15K in total. That's where the sense of accountability comes. So in general, it's not just in this region, but it's the whole generation, the new generation. It's a generation that lacks accountability. So having them take these camps, understand the accountability, going for, say, for example, internships to companies and stuff like that and everything, and face the real world, is to understand also one of the things, which is the sense of accountability. I need to be there on time, or I will get a salary deduction. I need to be there. I need to do these. I need to finish all these on deadlines, or I will get a warning. Because unfortunately, it's not implemented really well in not just schools, but families as well, the sense of accountability. But there are other places that you see that you'll have people being very strict on the kids in terms of like your behavior with others, your chores, are you finishing them on time? Are you actually serious in your job or not? if I want you to finish something today, you're not going to get the grade the next day. I'm not going to give you the grade the next day because I gave you a chance like for until the end of the day.
We go a long way to select institutions that they provide summer camps. We go to the schools, talk with the faculty, try to understand the syllabus, even though if it's for a short time. I think it's very important. Do you think there should be more connection between us travel professionals that are trying to lead the child to have extracurriculum activities and the school and the family together? Because what often I speak with families and I introduce them to this academics from the summer camps, but the original schools often neglect to talk to us back to how is the child, because it's one thing is what the parents think of their children, and the other thing is what the teacher know what the child is. Do you think there could be a way here in this region to work more together as travel professionals with you schools to send those children into the summer camps?
I mean, I think there's going to be a way. You need to have a vocal point for each one. Like, it's just like you said, like the kid is going to be different with his family, and the kid is going to be very different with his school, because he's going to be in a different environment. He's going to see different kind of kids. He's going to interact with different teachers. He's going to like this teacher. He's going to hate this teacher. And he doesn't want to go to that school, to that class. He wants to stay in your class for a long time. He wants to stay with those kids in that table. If you separate them from each other, they're gonna have they're gonna talk back to you like, no, I want to stay with him. So it's important to have this kind of connection between the three, because if you're doing that, you're taking a huge load of an emotional package. There's a lot of emotions in the kid. There's a lot of expectations. Like the kid, when he goes there, he's expected to be doing this and that, but he's not getting it in the end. Because then comes again what does it come again? The sense of accountability. You don't get this if you don't do this. So that's why it's really important to have this kind of connection with the family and the teachers.
I'll tell you a little story that happened to me last year. I had this family from the Gulf who sent their 3 children to summer camps for quite a few years. Their daughter befriended a nice girl from North America, from Mexico. They went to, every year, after the first year when they met, they agreed to go the second and third year in the same summer camps in different countries, because they really developed this keen friendship. On the third year, when they were 15, the Mexican girl asked her Khaliji friend to come and do a semester abroad. The family was enthusiastic because the family was a very good family, very good position, very good experience. We had a lot of pressure from the school not to send the child, because they were scared that the type of, it was an American school back in Mexico, the type of schooling was completely different and it would have damaged the child. What do you think? What's your opinion in this regard?
I think this is one of the most wrong things to do. You need to send the kid out there. You need to send the child out there. They need to experience the outside world. Yes, you will face different environment. Yes, you will face different backgrounds, but that's the point. That's the point. You need to be there. You need to be out there. You need to understand. You need to know. Your perspective may be changed because you're in, let's say you're in a bubble, but you need to pop your bubble so you can see what the outside world is. And it's a very interesting thing, because I still get some people asking me, oh, do you do these things in Kuwait? It's like, I mean, yeah, we're just the same as you. We're in the same region. I didn't know that. I was like, of course. That's because they are in a bubble. They don't pop out this bubble and go out.
This bubble is also quite tight shield because of social pressure. What we noticed when we offer summer camps is that parents often don't listen to us about the programs, but they prefer to say, oh, it's in London, or it's in the south of France. Whereas we tell them, no, what is important is what your child wants to achieve in this summer camp. But very often we face that is what the parents want to achieve by sending their children to a specific place so that they can show off a bit. How can you help us to mitigate the social pressure and what is good for the child? Omar, tell me, was there any fun stories about any of your students that went on a summer trip, and then they came back and you find them changed?
One of the students actually, back in Kuwait. So he's one of the students he was very bad in English, like mind-blowing, mind-blowing, to a point that he can't even read letters. He cannot even read letters. So it was a discussion between me and his dad, like, I think you need to send him to a family. Just throw him there. And he really did. The next day, he found one of the agencies in Kuwait that do that. So he took him to Ireland. If it was in the UK, it would be much easier, but he took him to Ireland. So
Tough accent.
Tough accent. He stayed there for 2 months for the summer. Our summers in Kuwait were like 3 months of holiday. So it's a very long summer. It's a very long summer for the students. So he stayed there for two months. He actually came back with an Irish accent.
Amazing.
He's 13 years old. That's why I want to say that they're consumers. He came back with an Irish accent.
We work with some of these big names that they offer long stays in schools or with families, and has been proven very successful in time because the children learn quicker, faster, and then their language skills developed incredibly. But also, we like to focus on fun summer camps. I'm a big fan that sometimes the child should just let it be, and express his youth, his temperament. And we offer these summer camps dedicated only to sports, tennis, swimming, soccer. Soccer, it's a game changer for children.
Of course, absolutely.
Yes. Do you think that parents should be regarding the summer camps focusing on sports as equal as academic programs?
They should. They should.
We both agree on
They
that.
should. They should. If you have countries that concentrate on like sport performance to give you scholarships in universities, then why don't you do the same thing here?
One thing that we launched a couple of years ago is with academic scholars from universities to train children to be accepted in prestigious universities. Is this something that it's common over here in the GCC?
I don't think it's common, but you have the families that are like very, how can I tell you about that? Like they are well aware about the universities that have scholarships, well aware about the universities that they want to take their kids to. So they try as much as they can to take care of their kids academically, of course, because the only concern you can find here is academic.
But also, the sport thing, achieving in swimming, in tennis, and other sports.
You don't have that a lot in the region. You don't have a lot in the region. Like if you see in the United States, let's say for example, or in the UK or in Australia, you have the sports scholarship program. Say every university have 10 seats for highly talented students. you will get that, but if you reach this much percentage, so I will still take you because of your talent in sports, but I still need to see good grades. And that's one of the things, because they're like most of the people who go to the universities with sports scholarships are not academically good, but they're very talented in their sports. And also to have them also balancing things in between, we require this percentage, because we know you won't reach that kind of percentage, but we still want you to be studying and not just neglect your studies, because they don't want to have a bad example of someone who's like, oh, I'm doing sports, I'm not going to be doing my studies. No, we still want you like that. And if there's a warning, you will get the warning, and you're just going to be kicked out of the university.
Of course.
So that is something also that it could work here, because you, like, if you see, for example, in Qatar, it's a sports-driven country. The people are sport-driven now. They're fitness-driven. There's a lot of sports events happening. The Basketball World Cup, the Gulf Games, the Formula One, the marathons, the triathlons, the Ironman. You can do these kind of things.
Yes, we have been trying to bring this new aspect into Khaliji society, that academic is one side, but also sports activities for children. But what about when we have young teenagers, to send them on a 2-3 weeks program just dedicated to sports? Schools here, they seem not to encourage that. Whereas I think that Latins would say that young people in healthy bodies develop brilliant minds. Would you agree with that statement?
I do agree with that. I'll give you an example of one of my students in Kuwait. His name is Bandar Salama, and he's one of the students that I taught in my first school in Kuwait, Abdulaziz Hussein. And he was not one of the top students, but he was a very good, talented football player. And he kept practicing football, and he was practicing football with one of the most renowned teams in Kuwait. And also at the same time, the people around him supported him to be at that level of sports. Until one day now he is representing the national team of Kuwait.
Mabruk.
Yeah, he's representing the national team of Kuwait. He's won a lot of football leagues and everything. So that's what I say, like you have a lot of talents in sports. You have a lot of talents in engineering. You have a lot of talents in games. Gaming, for example. In the United States, I think maybe just in the United States, you have those people, those schools and universities that do gaming tournaments, and they bring a lot of money, of course. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them who are talented, and they are still being incorporated in universities. We still want to see your academics going well, but we still want you to do that because it's the new sport, esports. And now the country here are invested in esports. Saudi also are invested in esports. UAE are invested in esports. Give it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to see a big investments in esports. But also, it can be incorporated through academics. It can be incorporated through schools. But that's why I say schools need to change the look of how education is now, right now.
In the past decade, we have been working closely with many schools, taking their curricula, studying the subjects, and creating family trips that incorporate what the children are studying. Is anyone doing this in the region?
Not that I think of. I think maybe the last time I've seen something like that maybe was in my time.
Because they're not school trips. Often the family or the school says, oh, you're approaching us for a school trip. I said, no, I'm not approaching you for a school trip, but for a trip exclusively for the family, so that you also create a bonding, a storytelling, which is linked with what the students are studying. And back in Europe, this has proven really successful, both academically for the child to grasp better, but also for the family to bond and understand what the child is studying and is going
you've got
through.
parents sports day. You've got also, for example, the performances. Parents come to see the performances of the kids and everything. That's why, like, schools are encouraging students to jump into those performances, and the parents will come and see. The parents will communicate with the teachers, will communicate with other parents. Sports day, the parents will communicate with the teachers, communicate with other parents, and they have like a special kind of bonding. It's not fully incorporated in the region, of course, but it's one of the best ways to like have communication, have networking, have bonding between the families and the parents. It's a missing aspect, but it can be a very useful aspect for the future.
Lastly, we as travel professionals create bridges between cultures, between people. I would like to work more with schools here in the region to create those bridges, connecting those dots. Do you think that the current schooling system would understand, and the parents would understand, that relying upon travel professionals like myself and my team would be of help to the social behavioral development of a child?
Of course, it's going to be of help. You have the first perspective and the second perspective. You still need the third perspective. The third perspective is always very good. So let's say, for example, if I see you and I tell you, like, you're doing a wonderful job, you don't believe it because you think, like, I'm not doing a wonderful job. But when someone else instead of us comes and say, you're actually doing a very good job, you see someone other than me telling you the same thing, telling you that. So that's why you need to have the third perspective. That's why you need to have more people involved from different sectors of the country. That's how the country here also works. There's a lot of countries, there's a lot of sectors around here that come together to bring one thing successful. See what happened in the World Cup. It wasn't just one sport thing. No, it was the whole country. Social, religious, hospitality, entertainment, schools as well. Everyone bonded together to bring one great thing. You need to have different perspectives. You need to have different people sharing their experiences and bringing you the best outcome.
Omar, tell us more about you. I started following you a few months ago, before the critical situation that we all lived through.
Yeah.
And I noticed how exponentially you have grown. Where are you from? How did you develop this interest in social media? Tell me about a bit of your story.
So, my name is Omar. I'm from Kuwait. I'm an English teacher who started in Kuwait. I started there as an English teacher and a football commentator. So I commentated for football in the Kuwait National TV for sport. I commentated on the football league, commentated on the futsal league. I commentated on different events, from them CrossFit, marathons, and triathlons. In 2024, I moved to Doha as a very good job opportunity that came here. So I moved, I took that step. It was a nice risk. It's paying off right now. Social media happened unexpectedly.
It always happens by accident.
Yeah, it wasn't a plan. It absolutely wasn't a plan. It was just like one fun video that I did. It was like teachers before school and then teachers after school. And because that video brought me 20,000 followers itself from different kinds of teachers, because it was very interesting. And I think one of the points that were there is that this guy wears Kuwaiti and he lives in Qatar and he speaks very good English. Where is he from?
He's from Mars.
Yeah, so I still have a lot, although I told where I'm from 5 times, but still people don't know where I'm from. So that's kind of a hassle. And then my followers increased. I started talking about teaching. Since a lot of people saw that I live in Qatar, so I started talking about Qatar and became more concerned about Qatar. And then I changed up. I was like, there's a lot of content creators here who talk about Qatar. And I don't mind still talking about Qatar, showing people things about Qatar and stuff like that. But I want to branch out. So I started talking to people about storytelling because I had a long history in work, in relationships, in friends, in life itself. So I started talking about that. So a lot more people start relating to that. And then it came to the humoristic side. Apparently, we Kuwaitis know how to joke, so I started to I started to use that as well. So it's paying off at least. So that's why I had a very big jump of followers. I didn't expect.
But you also do a lot of social responsibility.
Yeah.
A lot of your videos is about doing the right thing in the right moment with the right people. This is something really that really struck my attention, and that's why also why I enjoyed following you on social media.
There's a lot, like the social responsibility also comes with my relationship with my followers. There's a lot of the followers who are very comfortable with sharing things with me. So that's why, like, all the videos that I share that they relate to, they come to me to speak about their concerns, speak about their experiences, speak about their trauma sometimes. So that's where the responsibility came. And I try as hard as I can to reply to each one of them and give them the advice that they need. So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. It's been an incredible ride. I expect more, and I'm planning to do more, inshallah. What about you? What brought you to Qatar?
Ha! $1 million question.
Yeah, you're a travel agency. You've done summer camps and everything all around the world, but Qatar in specific.
My company, it's over 60 years old. We have been working successfully in Italy, of course, where I'm originally from, but we have a good client space in the US, in the UK, and in continental Europe. A year and a half ago now, I came to Qatar, which wasn't my first time, to invited to experience a digital detoxing program, because we do a lot of longevity. Besides summer camps, we do a lot of special interests. We just don't propose typical trips, like, take off and you go to London or you go to Egypt or whatever. But we also are very keen on sport events, on cultural events, and also this longevity detox, which more and more people are enjoying and are requesting. At the end of my digital detoxing, a little voice told me, don't go back home. Spend some time in Doha. And talking between me, myself, and I said, no, I can't. I have so many commitments back home. I needed to go back to New York to see clients. But this voice was becoming even more louder in my head. So I decided to spend here 4 days. It was the beginning of Ramadan.
Perfect time.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Being a piffery little Westerner, I thought that Ramadan was a dull moment. Hell no.
Ramadan in Qatar is one of the most beautiful moments.
It is, indeed. And seeing the energy, witnessing what the Qatari culture was, made me thinking. So I went back home.
For sure.
I did some little research, and I didn't find anybody doing bespoke trips the way we were doing. So I landed at my office. I did a video call between Milan and New York and said, guys, we're moving to Doha. Everybody kind of freaked out because they thought for a second I was taking everyone to Doha. I said, no, don't worry. It's just me that I'll go to Doha and we're going to set up a branch office. And here we are talking with you now. It's a story that tells how much I see the potential in this country. Like you did, you moved from Kuwait to Qatar. I moved from Milan to Doha because I think it's a place that is full of opportunities that rewards people that have something to say and to offer.
This is what I tell a lot of people, and this is the number one question that all my people back in Kuwait tell me, like, why did you move to Qatar? Like, I'm not neglecting what Kuwait did. Kuwait made me the man who I am. She gave me my values, gave me my ethics, gave me my personality. Qatar is the country that opened doors for me in many different professions. Like, there's a lot of opportunities, and I came here because I want these opportunities. And thankfully, alhamdulillah, I was able to get these opportunities, and I expanded, and I'm still expanding, I'm still getting experience. That's why a lot of my friends who are telling me, like, oh, we want to move for teaching. It's like, it's fine, it's fun, it's nice. You will develop yourself and everything, but don't just move here for a salary. Like, my salary increase, when people ask me, oh, what's your salary increase? Is it this much? Like, no, it's not actually that much. It's maybe similar as the one I'm taking in Kuwait. But now I'm paying my own rent, I'm paying my own bills, I became independent. I came here because there's a lot of opportunities. I have something else other than teaching that I can do, and I want to do it, and I'm doing it very great. And I've put myself out there, and I'm putting myself out there in a way that I'm really good at it. And I'm not just saying that because I want to say that I'm good. No, I am actually good at it, and people now understand. So I've made it in a way that even my emceeing, which is the commentary, if I do it 1 year and I'm not there the next year, they would feel the difference. And it's not coming from me, it comes from the people who go there. And
I totally relate to you. I experienced a tremendous success from an early start here, from my approach. I can say that people like me about being Italian, and that, I clumsily try to speak Arabic a bit with a noblest, hopeful accent. But the more I'm getting to know the people, the more I'm studying the culture, the more I understand how much the way we work resonates here. For example, the concept of diafa, it's something that we have been doing for years. The sense of hospitality, the sense of discretion, privacy, respecting one's boundaries, and at the same time understanding who our guests are, has really resonate with the Khaliji consumer base that we're having here. And we trying to reach out to more people is because I think we have more to say, and that people will appreciate that, like you're doing yourself.
of course, it's just like you said, when you come here, there's a lot of potential. When you grasp that potential, you're just going to blow up in the country. You're going to go everywhere. People will recognize you, people will respect you, people want to get close to you, and that is something happening to me. I came here and it's the first year, I was very lonely. I had my friends, I go to my friends, but I was very lonely in a sense. I'm very lonely. But the second year, with all the events that I had and the social media that I had and how I improved myself in teaching here, people want to be around you now. And now I'm being lonely by choice because there's a lot of people coming. It's like, خلاص.
You went from an extreme to the
I was
other.
like, there's a lot of people coming. But it's good. It's good in a way, yeah.
One of the fields of expertise that we have is organizing trip for sports events. Now we are very busy organizing from Doha private charter flights, full-scale accommodation for the FIFA World Cup in North America. Yes, the FIFA World Cup here was a huge success. It awoken a certain interest in the local population.
Yeah.
And we have secure tickets, top-end hospitality, the soccer teams, private flights, so that people don't lose too much time. And it's something that we are getting requests more and more. And it's something that I see that soccer has become almost a fever pitch here. Was it always like that?
It's always been like that. It's always been like that since the beginning. And also for Qatar to have the World Cup here was not just a pride moment for Qatar, but a pride moment for the whole Middle East. And I think also they set a standard. Like there's the expectations for the next World Cup to be as successful as Qatar. It's doubtful.
From our side, we are just matching that expectation.
Yeah, I mean, from my side, I think it's not gonna be the best World Cup.
Of course, Italy is not playing in it. So
that's one.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, especially the people from Qatar, not just the Qataris, but the people who live in Qatar, they want to go to the World Cup in the States because they want to see, are they going to be outdone in Qatar, or are we still going to be being very proud and bragging about our World Cup? And I think that's going to happen. Yeah.
It's going to happen. We're having lots of requests and confirmations. And I see that the Qatari audience really appreciate, also the other countries in the region appreciate how we organize it with top facilities and services across North America.
You're gonna have people who love to have that experience. It's not just going to the match. The match is one thing, but the experience from A to Z is the thing. So,
Yes.
So that's how like the World Cup, like in 2020, the experience was the whole thing. I finished work in Kuwait. After an hour, I was in the airport in Kuwait, went to Doha, went to one game, went to the second game, and then went back to Kuwait. Next day, I was at work. This never happens in Europe. This never happens in any other country. It just happened in Qatar.
And that, I think, will stay a very unique event because logistic was very easy.
Yeah.
What we have studied for months were the logistics to move across 3 countries to allow our Khaliji customers to be able to see as many games as they can, minimizing the waste of time in transfers.
Yes. So for me, I really do actually. I really do hope to see like families and schools and academies are encouraging their kids to have these summer camps outside of the country, outside of the region, to experience different cultures, to experience different environments, to experience interacting with different people, because that's how you develop yourself as a person. You don't develop yourself being in one place. This is also, like, you put it as an example of me moving from Kuwait to Qatar. In Kuwait, I felt I reached a plateau. There's nowhere I can go up. I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Qatar. And it was a shock for a lot of people. Why did you move to Qatar? When I moved to Qatar, the bubble popped. Now I'm expanding to a lot of cultures, especially in Doha. There's a lot of people from different cultures. There's a lot of people from different countries. There's a lot of experiences. So it's good for me. And it's good to see that it is going to be very good to see from families, from schools, from different academies to do the same move for going abroad. Go to China, go to Japan, go to Italy, go to the UK, go to Ireland, go to Canada, Mexico, wherever you want to go, because you really need to experience this.
We're ready to welcome and help these families and these children to broaden your horizons. And now I would like to thank you, because meeting you face to face has been very interesting. I'm a follower, I'm a user, but meeting you in real life made me understand how really worth it you are, and that you have so much to say to all of us here in Qatar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.